face to face.
Right.
And my colleague Colette, she's joining us from Hamilton, and she's also been
Julie,
a travel consultant for about 30 years, right, Colette? So her and I have been working on putting a few groups together. Australia, we're taking a group together in November, and then we have a few other ones up our sleeves. So anyway, she's joining us today, and I'm glad to have her with us. And she's also more tech savvy than I am. So thanks again. This, as I think most of you know, I was in Egypt this past November. Took great time, and it was just such a fascinating. As I got back, I started working on putting together another group for next year. So this group we have set up is for the 6th of December, starting in Cairo, ending in Cairo on the 16th of December. And so that means you will take an overnight flight from Canada on the 5th of December, arriving on the 6th. There, again, just for these dates, like other companies who I've been checking with on Egypt, it's really hard to find space this year. It's just, and even my suppliers are saying, I'm not. Grand Egyptian Museum has been in the works for the last 10 years, and it's finally supposed to open this year, but they don't have a specific date yet. But the
Julie's cutting out a little bit, so wait for her to come back. Hi, Julie. Julie, you cut out for a little bit, so we lost you for about 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Let me just see here. Sorry. Okay. Let me know. Sorry. Let me know if that happens again. Yeah.
I'll just do the wave if that happens.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I haven't had any internet issues at all lately, but of course today. Anyhow, yeah, I was just saying that we're lucky that we got space for these dates, as Egypt is very busy, very popular. So I noticed the last month Time magazine has had Egypt on their top places to visit 2023 this year, and they were featuring Saqqara and Giza, where the temples are. And then the opening of the museum is what they featured as well. So this is just a little map overview on the places that we'll be visiting. So you can see sort of from north to south how far south you're traveling. So Cairo is considered in Upper Egypt, actually is in the north. Sorry, Upper Egypt is in the south, and Lower Egypt is in the north. So go fly into Cairo and then spend some time touring around Cairo, fly down to Luxor, and then cruise from Luxor through Edfu, Komombo, and to Aswan, and then fly to Abu Simbel and back to Cairo. Getting to Egypt from Canada and Alberta, there are a few different options. There is an Egyptair direct flight from Toronto to Cairo return. The times are okay, and the service is okay. It's not as good as say Air Canada or Lufthansa. So I guess it just depends on what is the best price and the best flight itinerary. But I'd probably recommend going through either London, Frankfurt, Paris, or even it may work with KLM through Amsterdam. And the flights, as I said, they leave Canada and sort of usually in the afternoon, and then you go through Europe and you arrive into Cairo, usually in the late afternoon or evening, and that following day. And then on the way back, the flights from Cairo, a lot of them leave at like 2 a.m. and fly to Frankfurt or London, and then connect on to Canada. So we'll just have a look and see what the best options are. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm using a company who is a preferred company that I work with in Cairo. They're called a destination management company, and they're based in Cairo, Egypt. So they're really wonderful. If anything, you need anything, they're right in the heart of Egypt. So we're constantly in touch with them. I was when I was there in November, but the company is called Egypt and Beyond, and Tarek, the owner of the company, he actually hosted Rick Steves when he did a 1-hour documentary on Egypt, on Alexandria and Cairo a couple of years ago. And he was just on it was Rick Steves' radio show earlier this month. And so if anyone's interested, I can send you the YouTube link to his full, both episodes and his radio documentary as well. But he's very responsive. He's been doing this for a long time. He has great relationships and amazing guides. All the transportation are top quality, very organized and on top of everything. So it's I'm proud to work with such a good partner down there. So arriving into Cairo, this is wonderful Nellie. So she is Tarek, that's from Egypt and Beyond, his like right hand woman. She's amazing. So after the long flight, you arrive into Cairo, and before you even go through customs, you with a sign with your name on it. So what she does is so as soon as we got there, she said, smiling, come with me. She grabbed our passports, basically took us like VIPs through the customs. She just dealt with the customs officer, and we just waited and we just sped through. So she was wonderful, and then helped us with our luggage. I bought a SIM card to use down there. She helped with that, and then took us to the private transfer to the hotel. So she'll do the same for you. This is how they operate with anyone. So whatever time you come in, she'll be there waiting, take you to the transfer bus, which is private, and then a transfer to the hotel, which is about 45 minutes. It depends on traffic, but if it's a late arrival, you can get there in about half an hour to the hotel. So the hotel we're using in Cairo is called the Steigenberger. It's a 4-star hotel, but it has, let me tell you, a 5-star breakfast. They had absolutely everything you can imagine for breakfast. So really great way to start your day. But yeah, clean, comfortable rooms, great shower, great like comfortable beds, good location for sightseeing. There's a few restaurants in the area that you can go to, a great shawarma place, and all around this hotel. So just super good location, really convenient, and that awesome breakfast. Then the first arrival day is just going to be, whatever time you get there, you can be tired, maybe eat at the hotel, have a really good night rest. And then the next day is when the touring is going to begin. So this is Marwa. And that was another big thing is since I'm not going to be on this trip, I just really wanted to make sure you had Marwa. She is just an absolutely fantastic guide. She has an awesome personality. She just knows everything. Any question you ask her, any hieroglyph, she'll tell you all about it. And even we had other guides coming up to us and saying, "Oh, you guys have the best guide in Egypt. Like she's awesome." So I felt it was really important to have her with you. So that first day we're going to, I keep saying we because if I'm there, but you'll be visiting the National Museum of Ancient Civilization. This just opened a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you saw, you can find it on YouTube, but they did the Parade of the Mummies, where they moved the mummies of 18 kings and 4 queens, 7 kilometers through the streets of Cairo to their new resting place here at the Museum of Egyptian Civilization. So it's quite a spectacular thing. They closed all the streets, and so you see all the mummies. And then they also have on display the Tutankhamun mask. It's a 200-pound gold mask. You can go see it. You can't take pictures. And that was like really a highlight, just seeing that, because it's one of the only tombs that they found that was pretty intact. But it's amazing because Cairo really, like, it sets the stage. You're going to the museums, it sets it up and then when you go out and see the actual temples, it all sort of comes to life. So it's a really nice facility there. Then the next day, get right into it, where you'll go and see the Great Pyramids. So it's not too far outside of the city, and hopefully the Grand Egyptian Museum will be open, and it's just like right across from here. And then the Sphinx is right in front. So you'll be touring, you'll go out and you'll go right up next to the pyramids. You can walk on them, and then spend some time there, and then you come around and there's a spot where you can ride camels. Do you notice why I'm not on the camel? Because I wore a dress that day. I chalk that up to jet lag. But anyhow, you can ride a camel, and Marwa is so good. She'll tell you, like, there's lots of different people, but she'll say, no, like, these are the guys I know and I trust. If you want to ride a camel, you can. It's just 15 minutes. If not, you can take pictures of them and walk around. And then there'll be just a wonderful lunch. It just doesn't even look real, does it? Like a really great, delicious lunch right outside the like overlooking the pyramids. After lunch, there's a visit to, you'll get right up close with the Sphinx. And I've actually included in this tour, there's a very special entrance and a ticket that you need to visit in between the paws of the Sphinx. So the paws are like the height of two people and about a school bus long, each of them. So you go in the middle, and there's a special, like, and apparently it's quite magical. We didn't do it this time, but I wanted you to have that experience. But there's epigraphic stele, I think is what it's called. And it's right in the middle of the Sphinx, and has an inscription on it. And Marwa will go into like the story behind it and what it signifies and says and everything. But it's not a lot of people get the opportunity to do that. And there's only a certain number of visitors that are allowed to do that each day. So that will be included. After that, I think this is really, really special, and it was a highlight of the group as well, is that doing an actual food tour. So throughout your trip, there's always the option of having, chicken or piece of beef or potatoes or whatever you want. But this is an opportunity to go out, go where the locals are, and be able to taste some of their local cuisine. So anything from, there's a lot of different drinks. Actually, my favorite was the just mango drink. It tastes like a pureed mango. It was delicious. And then like other things like dips, like kind of like a baba ganoush, hummus, fresh pita. There's beef and lamb kebabs, stuffed zucchini. I love Egyptian food, so I hope you do it too. It's nothing overly not spicy, lots of tomato based dishes, rice, but it's really good. So that'll be a really fun thing, and Nellie's going to be taking you through that food tour. Then the next day is a visit to Saqqara, that one that was in the Time magazine. So that's the step pyramid. So in this area, there's a whole bunch of different pyramids, and it kind of shows how they ended up creating the pyramid, how they had built the Great Pyramids with and so you can get out, walk all around there. There's lots, like, it's hard to capture the whole site, but there's a lot of areas where you can walk around. And then the Mosque of Muhammad Ali, which is stunningly beautiful to look at as well, and you can go in and walk around. Then after that, there's a famous market called the Khan al-Khalili Bazaar, and it's I should also mention that throughout the trip, we have a big like air conditioned motor coach with bottled water, an amazing driver. Like our driver took us right through this street, and like I don't know how he does it. It was incredible. And so he's always dropping, like you're always getting dropped off right where you're going, like right at the entrance. So you're not walking a long way or having to find your way around. Then there's a really great little cafe in the middle of this market that you'll have lunch. And yeah, and it's fun. You get to see how your negotiating skills are when you're shopping here in the market. And the vendors are very fun. I don't know if you've had those experiences before, but they'll see, you know, if you have a Canada pin or something, oh, Canada Dry, Canada Dry, or you know, what if you say, oh, what are you looking for? Nothing. Oh, I have that in every color. They're a lot of fun. So don't like they'll be chatting with you and everything. But the nice thing about another thing I really appreciate about Marwa is when you go, she said like the first day, if there's anything that you see that you want to buy, she said, let me know. She said, come back to the bus, let me know. And I'll tell you about how much that item should be. And if you want it, I'll go out and get it for you. So you're not having, unless you want to, you're not having to do that back and forth negotiating with them. But so there's a little bit of shopping, but I thought I would just prepare you I'll go over some of the things you can buy just so you know ahead of time. So that because there's not a ton of time to shop. So this way, if you want something, you can be watching out for it. Then the following day, we will visit the Coptic Cairo. So there's a Coptic museum, which has a whole bunch of different artifacts. And then there's an area here, the Abu Sirga and the Hanging Church, where the Holy Family sought refuge for about 3 months when they fled to Egypt. And so they built a church over top of it. And here that spot in the bottom right is where there's a well. There still is a well, and that's the well that they drank from. And so that's really interesting. Then from there, you'll go back to the Cairo airport and fly to Luxor. This first temple, Dundara, I'd say it was my favorite temple. I don't know about you, Mumtaz, but I found it was so colorful. It was so big. On the ceiling, they had all the different like a different horoscope, like and Marwa will point it all out for you for each month. And it was just like really colorful, and you can see how it was carved. Like it was not carved into the stone, it was carved like outside of it. It was just amazing. And you'll also see throughout they're restoring, there's so much that they're restoring a lots of it. So that guy on the right side is working on it. Such delicate work there to keep the color and everything. But it's really neat. That was I'd say really a highlight. Then the rest of the day will be checking into the Sonesta St. George, which is right on the Nile. It's kind of more like a resort hotel. Has a nice pool and a pool bar and nice views. That afternoon, like you can have lunch there, you can walk. There's some restaurants right on the Nile if you want to go out of the hotel, but they have a great buffet dinner here. And that time is just to relax. I should mention too the weather in December. So as you're flying south, of course, it's warmer. So in Luxor and then Aswan, it probably will be around, I'd say like around 20 degrees. So in the mornings, you'll probably want to have a light jacket or a sweater, and in the evenings, but it gets quite warm in the day. Also, just talking about the dress, in Cairo is a little bit more casual. Like you saw, I was wearing a dress to my knees with covering my shoulders, and I felt like that was respectful. You don't need to wear like long pants or long sleeve shirts all the time. but once you leave Cairo, it's a little bit more conservative. So I recommend just always having your shoulders covered. And then for the churches, again, Marwa will tell you as well, but for some of the churches to have the capris or long pants as well.
Julie, do you need a head covering for any museum or any?
No, you do not. No, that's a good question. Yeah, you don't. So yeah, here, this is, yeah, nice way to end the day there. So the following day, this is the optional hot air balloon ride. I'd highly recommend it. It's definitely a highlight. So in order to get up in the hot air balloon as the sun's rising, you need to it's an early morning start, like about 4:30 a.m. But the hotel packs a really great breakfast bag for you to eat on the way. You take a bus to the river, and then you get on a boat, which is that middle picture. You get on a boat, they give you a little coffee and stuff. And then you get on another private van that takes you to where they're blowing up all the balloons when they're filling them up, and they're all lit up. It's really incredible. Each, like the one we were in, actually held 30 people. So it just to give you an idea, you do have to like jump, like climb into the basket. So they give you a little step, but you do climb in. So it's there's not a door or anything. But amazing as you're seeing the sun rise and you see all the balloons around you, and then you're over the valley. You're seeing all the greenery around the Nile. And then the desert behind. It was spectacular. Like definitely a highlight of all of my travels. And then, so if you don't come on the hot air balloon ride, then you'll get picked up just a little bit later, around about 9 a.m. and meet everyone as they've landed and go over to the temple of Hatshepsut and in the Valley of the Kings and Queens. So you can see, like, look at the hieroglyphs here on the bottom right. My husband said, "Oh, look, it has sunglasses." No, but it was, so the one on the left there is one that's Queen Nefertari's tomb. So in this area, there's different entrances into the tombs that you want to visit, and hers is one of the most beautiful. Like, it's really colorful, and lots of different scenes. That's like her and her best friend, and again, Marwa will be telling you stories, and it all comes together. But they're all a little different. So we included the Queen Nefertari's because that one is an extra ticket, and they only have so many. And they have also King Tutankhamun's tomb as well included. And then there's a few other ones in the area that, like in the same complex, you can visit as well. And then later that afternoon, you'll be checking into the Nile cruise. So these ships are about 30 cabins. They're all very similar, but some have been renovated and some haven't. So this ship has been renovated recently, and you can tell by the furnishings, but it's very, very nice. But the standard room is the one that's on the bottom in the middle. It has a big picture window, no balcony, but the top deck is totally open air, lots of chairs. There's a pool up there and tables, and they'll often have high tea there. All your meals are included on the cruise, and then they have like nightly entertainment. It's nothing like the big cruise ships, no Broadway shows or anything like that, but it's nice just to relax on there. On there, just so you know, all of the beverages are additional, but they're like, the pricing is really reasonable. Like, I would say a beer is like, $6. Coffee is like $2 a pop. It's not expensive. There's also a mini bar in your room. There'll be a gift shop and spa where you can get some massage and stuff like that if you want on your downtime. And then that night, this seems like a really long day, but it's not that far, like between all the places that you're going to. So the Karnak night, it's a light show, and it was stunning. Like this is one of the largest temples, the Karnak one. And so you walk there and it's all lit up and they're giving a commentary, like you stop and then you go a little bit further and then they show you a little bit more. But it's a neat complex and the way they have it lit up was amazing. It's maybe only like an hour and then it's about like 15-minute drive from the ship. So then the following day, you'll visit Karnak again just in the day to see just the size of it. There's also an area where there's the Avenue of the Sphinxes. You'll see it's 2 kilometers of just different like Sphinx facing each other. You drive by that, also visit Luxor, and then back to the boat, have lunch, and it's just cruising this afternoon. So just really beautiful and lush along the Nile. It's you see people doing just, their daily routine. You see kids waving, just different animals. Yeah, it was really, really nice. Like you barely want to sit down. You just want to be looking out all the time.
Julie, there was a question about the window, like the standard cabin. Does all of them have a window?
Yes, they all have a window. Yeah, good question. And if anyone's interested, they do have like that's the standard room. The next category up is a presidential suite. It's quite a jump, but it's like a suite. And we can check to see if there's any of those available. Then the next stop is Edfu. This one is like it's a really interesting, very, very interesting temple. The stop itself is I don't know, it feels like you've gone back in time. It's all horse and buggy, really very few vehicles. And so the transportation we have there is just what's available. Is by van, but it's like, I think it was like a 10-minute drive to get to the temple. It wasn't bad by any means, but it's not as nice, the same standard as the rest of the trip with the, big air-conditioned motor coach. But it was really, really, really interesting. And then back on the cruise, and you sail the same day to Komombo, which is has the temple of Sobek, which is the crocodile god. And so you see lots of little carvings of the crocodiles, and they have these mummified crocodiles as well. Yeah, very interesting. They're all a little different. And then on the 9th day, you'll arrive in Aswan and visit the High Dam. The High Dam is one of the largest man-made lakes in the world. So they built the dam, and then the lake goes all the way down into Sudan. And so it's quite an engineering feat. It's quite interesting to see. And then that day, you'll visit a Nubian village. So this area is an area of Nubia, and the Nubian people, they're so friendly, and they have these colorful houses. They bake in the middle. You can't really see, but in the middle one, they bake bread, like just in the sun. And they keep little baby crocodiles as pets for a little while, and so you can hold the crocodiles. It was just really interesting to get to learn about them and some sort of the things food that they make. They think they make different crafts and stuff, and they sang to us and just kind of told us about their way of life. But it's they're really, really known to be like super friendly people, and I can see that they definitely were. And then and that from there, I should say you get on a small boat and sail on a smaller boat on the Nile to get to the Nubian village. It was just so beautiful, so peaceful. Philae Temple, this one in the top left corner, is an island-based temple. So when the dam flooded that area, there's a couple different temples that were dismantled and relocated, and this one was So they call it like kind of like an island. You have to take a boat to get to it, to this temple. But yeah, it was really beautiful too. Like outdoor, lots of light and a little market and stuff. And on the bottom right, that's a felucca. It's like a sailboat along the Nile, and you'll see again lots of those sailing through around the riverboat. Then the 10th day, so this is the day you have an optional visit to go to Abu Simbel, and this is that it's more, I don't know if you saw Murder on the Nile, that movie, but there's this was in that movie, but they relocated this one as well. So it took over almost 5 years to do. They cut this huge temple into blocks and moved it about 200, how did they move it? I forget how, 200 meters up or something like that, anyhow, on a plateau. And it's really big, like standing next to those two on the top left, like you can't even see the tops of the heads of people. So it's huge. There's 2 temples there. And I think so in order to get there, you do need to fly from Aswan to Abu Simbel. It's 230 kilometers away, but I'm not on the best road. So better to fly. So you can fly there. There's a part of our group tour, again, airport representative meets the group there, takes us to a private bus that takes us right to Abu Simbel, waits for us, and then you get right back on the bus, and that takes you back to the airport to go back to Cairo. So it's just like, they working with this company, they just do those things really, really well. You're getting to see a lot in this short time. So they're really efficient. So I think it's quite amazing to see it. Like you walk, kind of that middle picture, you walk around, and then Marwa just gets you. She's like, "Hey, look down," and then you look up, and that's right. Like that scene is right in front of you, and it's pretty magnificent. So I know it is extra, but it is amazing. And okay, so then if you're not doing the Abu Simbel visit, though, you'll fly from Aswan to Cairo, and then we'll all meet there in Cairo, meet Nellie at the airport, go back to the hotel, which is not going to be the Steigenberger. It's going to be a different hotel for that night, and then a farewell dinner. That's the last night. Just a little bit again about the shopping. I was going to mention that things that you can look out for. So there's a lot of different dried spices and herbs that you can bring home, and the price is really, really good. In the middle, we stopped at a place where they sold kind of perfumes, like different essences. And it's like stronger than a perfume, kind of like almost like an oil. They smelled so good. And I didn't really know we were visiting that place. And I wish I bought a few things. Again, the prices were really good. They smelled really good, and they would last a long time. So there's just to keep in mind that there's that on the far right, those cartouches. A lot of people as a memento from Egypt will like to get their name in hieroglyphs and put it on a necklace. But then they had, all sorts of other things. Like they had a lot of, you'll see the locals wearing these things called galabeas. It's kind of like, it looks like a dress, like your pajamas. And that's what a lot of the locals wear. Very comfortable. Even on the cruise ship, usually one night they'll have a galabea night where everyone will dress up and dance. And they're really comfortable. A few people bought them and said, "Yeah, I can't wait to wear this around in the summertime, like in my house." But there's different jewelry, soapstones, papyrus art is another thing. Like that papyrus plant that they dry and then they paint it, and you can put that up in your home. But cottons, linens, soapstones, little figurines, are a lot of different souvenirs you can bring home that are unique and again, like priced really well. And okay, and then one thing I just wanted to touch on about Egypt, just so that nobody's surprised, is the accessibility. So it's not like traveling. I mean, in some places of Europe, it's not great either, but it's definitely not like North America. A lot of times the flights, you're going up and down the stairs on and off the plane onto the tarmac. So you're with your bags. The stones are very uneven. There's lots of like holes and pits, and a lot of the steps do not have railings. So it's just something to really keep in mind when you're going from the cruise ship, like the river boat on the river up to up the stairs. There's no railing there at all. So everyone helps each other, but it's a lot of walking, a lot of steps, and there's not like you can't just stop and sit, and there's no bench to take a rest. It's not like that. So just to be really aware that you have to be physically able to do it. Just like on the right, it kind of shows you like it's a little bit steep, going up and into those tombs, and it's a long distance. So what's included in the trip? So I'll just give you basically everything that I mentioned, but just to give you a bit of a review so all the accommodations, including the Nile cruise, are included. The meet and assist in all the airports. So in Cairo, in Luxor, in Aswan, in Abu Simbel, and then back in Cairo again. And again, it was just, I don't know, you're arriving into a different country, things just operate differently. And it was so nice having that familiar face there, just helping you through. It was just really easy. You could just relax and just enjoy seeing what's all around you. The extra tombs, tickets to the Tutankhamun and Nefertari tombs, the sound and light show, all of the transportation has the bottled water. So we never ran out of bottled water. Nobody on our trip got sick, like got any stomach issues or anything at all. So stick to the bottled water, brushing your teeth, and there's plenty of it, and drinking. The farewell dinner, all the domestic flights are included. The private transportations, and again, that's in the with an English driver and very clean buses. The breakfast, 9 breakfasts, 7 lunches, 5 dinners. A lot of times, so there are a few of the meals that are not included, but either, sometimes people were tired by the end of the day and just wanted to get room service, or just grab something down at the restaurant at the hotel. Or a lot of times you're pretty full from breakfast, or had maybe something left from your breakfast bag that I don't know, we didn't really need many extra meals. So it's nice to give you the flexibility of not having an included dinner, like, oh, I paid for the dinner, I better go. Like, you can just do whatever you're feeling, and then Egypt is definitely, I don't know if you talk to anybody, it's definitely a tipping culture. You feel like you're always, when we were there, you're always like tipping for something. So I made sure this time to have all the tips included. The only ones that are not included are for Marwa, like the main guide, and then for Nellie, who will be the airport host in Cairo. So everything else, like, honestly, you'd be 5 minutes in a bus, and then they want a tip, and then you'd be in the boat for 10 minutes, and then they want a tip, and then you know what I mean? So it's just so nice. You don't have to be pulling out your wallet all the time. So all of the porters, all of the, at the hotels, for the cruise, there's a different staff that carry your bags onto the ship that will put them in your room. All the cruise staff, that's all included. And then the only thing, so I'll give you a guide to the tipping for those two. So the additional, what's not included in the cost are your Egyptian visa, which I will do for you. It's $25. And it's just done online. It's an electronic visa, but you'll have a printout to take along with you. The international flights, any insurance that you need, which we can review. The meals that I mentioned that are not included, And then, so the tipping budget I have in here is about $250 to $300. So for Marwa, about $15 a day, Nelly about 10. And then there might be like, I mean, the staff on board the cruise is amazing. So if you, like, we wanted to give them a little extra, so we did that. There's other things like the washroom attendants, there's always somebody there. So we just, let's put it like $1, we go to the bathroom. So just little things, but I think that should cover, like if you get, a bunch of small bills and then have that others set aside for the guides, that should be all you need. And then any spending money for souvenirs. So there's the pricing there, included the, before I had the domestic flights broken out, so that's included there. There's the optional for Abu Simbel and for the hot air ballooning. So how to book. So we do need copies of your passport, like for those Egypt Air flights and for the visas. And then, so the deposit is $1,500 per person. And this part is like a little bit inconvenient, but with Egypt and Beyond, they don't take credit card payments. So we have to send them an e-transfer. So the easiest way to do that is you could either like send me the money in a US dollar, like check or bank draft or money order, or if you have CIBC or your bank can send bank to bank, then to do an e-transfer, and I'll have my banking information in the bottom of the booking form. But so that it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's the only way. And then this way I just send one e-transfer over to Egypt instead of sending multiple. So the book by date is April 19th. Now, because Egypt is just so busy, we really need to get flights booked and everything organized. So that's why I haven't the book by date in a week. And again, because we have to send that one e-transfer. This way we send it all at the same time. So yeah, we'll look at flights, insurance coverage, and have that booking form done. And then the final payment date is August 1st. And now I will open it up for some questions. I'm gonna just check
there were some questions in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't, let me just put this over here.
There was one about average time during the day, like what time, how much time you're away for each day, approximate. Is it about a 7 to 9 hour day?
Yeah, so they were really, really good about, the days where we had an early morning, say flight the next day, or the hot air balloon, we had a leisurely evening. So it was never like we were up, like had a late night and a really early start to the next day. So, and unless it was a flight or that hot air balloon, it was usually like a 9 a.m. meet to 8:30. It wasn't too early. It wasn't too bad. And then for the evenings, there wasn't anything that was really late either. There was the latest was the night show, but I think we were back by like 9 p.m. So they're not too long. I know I love my sleep, and it's still like going through all the jet lag and that kind of getting your body adjusted. So I felt like it was a really good pace for that. Yeah, dress codes for the museum again, like I said, it's not going to be. I did see people wearing sundresses and that kind of thing, but it wasn't like super hot, so you didn't feel like, oh, I need to wear like tank top or anything like that. It was definitely like t-shirts, or it's not a lot of people were wearing long sleeve just because it was like those breathable tops they were just comfortable for traveling in anyways.
Looks like Liz has a question. She had her hand up.
Oh yeah.
So you were saying that the days are like 10, 12 hours long, or longer?
No, not longer. Like like the day that the hot air balloon is, it's 9, it's an early morning, but then we have like go back to the boat for a couple hours and then go out again. So yeah, it wasn't too strenuous, the date. Yeah. The question about the flight, sorry, in my previous email, the $395 for the domestic flights, I just put that into that's included in the package tour price. So the $695 includes the flight from Aswan to Abu Simbel and Abu Simbel to Cairo, and then the sightseeing in Abu Simbel. And yeah, so the $395 is for the Cairo, Luxor, and then Cairo to Luxor, and then Aswan to Cairo.
And that price now is included in your per person rate.
Yeah. How much Canadian can you bring home? What's the limit now? I think it's like, is it $750? Do you recall it?
I think it's still $750.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah. So it wasn't enough unless you're buying some jewels or something. It seemed to be enough. I was just go by the, just be honest, whatever you spend, claim it, and then taxes not very much on it. So, okay. Does anyone else have any questions? So I know that was a lot.
We're using an Egyptian currency there, or are you using American dollars?
Yeah, a little bit of both, actually. So you can't really get Egyptian pounds ahead of time, but the Steigenberger had an ATM machine right in the lobby. It was easy to use. So I had some American, like I did bring a bunch of American with me, but then I took out Egyptian pounds. So they'll take both. Like if you're going through the market buying something, they'll have a price in US or in pounds.
So which would you get a better deal on if you were buying in the market? If you had their money or US, does it matter?
Not really. Yeah. Their currency had been devalued a couple of times last year. So I think they really liked to have the US dollar. But it didn't really matter. I didn't notice the difference in pricing.
Well, the thing is if you have US dollars, you're much more likely to use it again somewhere else, as opposed to having Egyptian dollars just won't do in USA or Mexico.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So if you have some left over, you're right. It's easier if you have to spend US dollars than Egyptian pounds. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a minimum number of people to make the trip work, or?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so we have a minimum of 11, and we have about that many right now who have said that they're like seriously interested in coming. And then our maximum is 19, but I also have just blocked 10 rooms. So it depends on how many single occupancy people we have and how many double. If we reach the 10 rooms, then I'll request more space. But we won't have more than 20 people. It's hard when you're at some of the temples, the monuments, when it's busy. It's harder if you have more than 20 people to hear like what Mara was saying. So I wouldn't want more than that, but that would be the maximum. But yeah, 11 is a minimum, which we, like I said, we have close to that right now. Yeah.
So are you going to Julie again?
No, I know. I was going through this and I was thinking it would be so fun to go back, but Paulette and I are hosting a trip to Australia for the first 3 weeks of November. And so it will just be too much to be away again. But I would love to.
One thing that all the travelers should carry small bills, because when they have to use the bathroom, the toilet facilities, a lady is standing there and you have to tip her, and she gives you 2 pieces of toilet paper. So make sure you take wipes and paper with you.
That's good advice, Mumtaz. That's really good advice. Yeah, bring lots of Kleenex with you and lots of small bills for sure.
Yeah. So there isn't a Canadian travel agent coming with us?
No. So no. The thing is,
I missed the first few minutes of the meeting. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to go over all of the inclusions of the tour, what to expect, and I there's a lot of work to be done ahead of time to sort of prepare everyone to go. But once you're, like I said, once you land in Cairo and like Nellie's right there, she'll take such good care of you. She's so wonderful. And then as soon as Marwa is just like, she's like the mom, like she's taking care of everything. And so like, it's not really necessary to have a host along. And that's why I knew I wasn't most likely going to be able to go. Then I wanted Marwa. So she's with you the whole time. And she's so organized. She's perfect English. And she's been doing this for a long time. So it really wasn't necessary.
So do we travel as a group without you from here to Cairo?
Well, it's up to you. Some people, I left the flights out because some people are traveling from different cities. And the other thing is sometimes people have points that they want to use or different frequent flyer miles. So you will all arrive, you may be on some of the same flights getting to Cairo, but you might just meet at the hotel the following morning for the first day's sightseeing. But yeah, it'll be the majority of the group is from Edmonton area. Some from like Calgary, Canmore, and then a few maybe of Colette's clients from Ontario. So yeah, it's I honestly, I was like Tarek, the owner of Egypt and Beyond. He's like, Julie, we have like all of our guides are really good. I'm like, no, it has to be Marwa. He's like, okay, I've never had this before. Okay. Like, no, it has to be, I want to make sure 100%. And Marwa, I have her on WhatsApp. She'll keep me up to date with everything that's going on. Oh, that's great. Oh yeah, you have that National Geographic. Oh wow.
Yeah,
See, that's the 200-pound gold mask that you'll get to see. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, just yeah, it's a really incredible, it's really, really incredible. It's like you're walking through like a museum the whole time, like a living museum, open air museum. There's just artifacts everywhere. And yeah, it's quite amazing. I feel like I just talked so much. But what I'll do is I'll send you all the booking link to the booking form, and then the trip itinerary, and then you can just let me know. Feel free to call me if you have any other questions or want to discuss anything. Otherwise, send us an email, Colette or I, and we'll go from there. All right. So nice to see everybody. Thank you so much again for your time. And yeah, I hope this trip works out for you. You won't regret it. You'll love it.